Hello, my name is Josh Weiner. Thank you for considering my application to Boston University's Cinema and Media Production MFA program. I would like to take some time to address your three questions. The first of these questions is, what film, TV series, or media production has changed your life, and in what way? Well, there are a number of worthy answers I could give to this question, but given that I'm applying to a Boston University, I feel that it makes sense to answer with a Boston film. That film would be The Departed. The Departed has had a tremendous impact on me ever since I first saw it in theaters when it came out during my high school career over 10 years ago. It continues to be one of my favorite films, one that I return to most often, and one from which I draw the most cinematic values. I can honestly say that The Departed has influenced my cinematic landscape in a number of ways. For one, this is the film that really opened the door to Martin Scorsese for me. I became compelled to explore Scorsese's body of work in much greater depth upon viewing The Departed, and now I can say that I am reasonably fluent with his catalog. It's a catalog which I think has its flaws. Over length is a fairly common issue. Narrative focus is something that I feel could be improved in a number of his films. But nonetheless, there's no denying what a capable and intelligent filmmaker Scorsese is, and I'm really glad that The Departed pushed me in the direction of his very influential and fascinating body of work. This is also the film that really compelled me to explore Boston cinema more, to see how Boston has been treated within the context of cinema over the years. I now have seen a number of films such as Good Will Hunting, The Social Network, most recently Spotlight, and it's fair to say that The Departed has given me access to a lot of memorable and rewarding dramas. As for my own filmmaking, The Departed, I think, has a number of very strong sets of filmmaking qualities on display, from the editing to the cinematography to even the soundtrack choices. These are some elements that I value a lot when working on my own films, and The Departed has set a lot of standards, a lot of very high standards that I myself would like to achieve when making films of my own. Second question. Given that this is a very competitive field, working in film and media, what are some personal qualities of yours that you think will guide you through to success? It's a very fair question, I think. But I would like to point out to my passion and experience foremost, the fact that this is something that I love to do, and that is something that I've been doing for a very long time. I've been active in making videos for more than 10 years. I've completed a wide variety of projects, and in those projects I've had experience with filmmaking techniques such as shooting, setting up equipment, doing linear editing on programs such as Adobe Premiere and Final Cut Pro. All of this means that I am a competent filmmaker, but I also have the hunger to complete my professional repertoire, to become adept in even more elements of filmmaking. So that hunger, that drive is something that I think will be very important in my professional life. Also my passion. The fact that when you speak to my parents, to anyone who knows me, I think they'll all say that when it comes to discussing cinema, to discussing potential film projects, my eyes really lit up. My enthusiasm really comes across. It's very clear that this is something that I really enjoy, a creative process that I really value and want to be invested in for the remainder of my professional life. So this is something that I think will be a very important element to display, and that I'm ready to display during my years in this profession. And lastly, not in many contexts, not just cinema, I would say I'm a very strong team player. There have been a lot of environments, from being on sports teams, from being on the school newspaper, from being on the debate team, and so on, where I've been one of many people, part of an organization where we all expect individual members to contribute, but all expect those contributions to add up to a rewarding group outcome that everyone can appreciate. So I really think that I am capable of making contributions in team building environments such as that, and that's something that I think will really become important in my career in a domain like film and media, which is very collaborative, which is very interdependent, and which I think I'm ready now to pursue. The final question is, what are some elements of the program that you think will be valuable to you, will prepare you for what comes next? So I think the most obvious one is the fact that this is a very production intense program. The fact that it that candidates have to be qualified. There aren't that many introductory courses that you go straight into the process of filmmaking and come out with a thesis project in about a year's time. So that will really not just bring you in contact with a lot of valuable production techniques, but also really give you the mindset of, okay, this is a fast-paced, competitive field where you really need to be on your toes the whole time and always need to be thinking, what ways can I contribute, which ways can I add to the final product. So I really appreciate that element of the Cinema MFA at BU, and think that these are something that will really take away from it: the creative skills and the strong professional mindset. Secondly, I think this is a great opportunity for me to expand upon my knowledge and appreciation of film history. This is a long-time passion and interest of mine. It's the source of a lot of rewarding coursework for me as a film studies student at Tufts University. And I really appreciate that BU has classes such as American Masterworks, where you are in fact encouraged to look at what some of the great authors of cinema in the past have done before. Having good insight to that is really key critical to be able to proceed as a filmmaker yourself in the modern day. And I think it's terrific that BU allows for that. And lastly, I think that in the BU curriculum, they give you insight into physical production, to how to prepare to shoot, not just shoot a film, but also market it, get the production authorized. Just what are all the logistical challenges of cinema that you need to prepare for when entering this field. I'm glad that that's been identified in the BU curriculum, and I think it's really important to gain a grasp on that, to be creative, not just for to be prepared not just for the creative, but also the professional, the industry challenges of working in cinema. I hope these answer your questions adequately, and thank you again, dear admissions team. Look forward to being in further touch. Take care.